Hey everybody, Jake Robinson here again with the Church of Christ Student Center in Weatherford, Oklahoma, also known as the Bulldogs for Christ. I'm glad to be back to share another message with you today. Yesterday was a unique day. A blizzard hit Weatherford, and for most of the day yesterday, my house was completely without power. Ever so often, the power would blink on, only to go back off a few minutes later. Finally, at about 6 o'clock yesterday evening, it went out for good. Lindsay and I got up from the chairs we were sitting in, walked over to the window, and just watched as half dollar-sized snowflakes got whipped around in the wind. It was an awesome sight. After we got tired of standing and watching the snow, we go sit down on the couch or in a chair and sit for a few minutes, visit, talk about things. But after about 5 minutes of that, the silence of the TV was just too much to take, and we found ourselves both back up, staring out the window before we knew it. Well, the hours crept by as the darkness took over, and at about 8:30 we were kicking ourselves for not charging up the laptop earlier in the day whenever we did have power, so that at least we could have watched a movie on it. By 9 o'clock, after a couple of failed attempts to get a small clock radio to work with a weak battery, I found myself trying to wire up an old ATV battery that we had in the garage to that radio just to see if we could get it to work. No such luck. Finally, at about 10 o'clock, we both admitted defeat against the storm and against the silence. We decided to go ahead and call it quits, go to bed early, throw a couple of extra blankets on the bed, and sleep away the silence until the morning. Luckily this morning the electricity did come back on, but there was one thought that I couldn't get rid of. A question, really. Why do I have a hard time with silence? It made me think about just how much of my life is filled with noise. Noise of the car stereo, noise of the TV, cell phone, video games, noise of life, work. One more inescapable thought came to mind. It's the thought that I've been pursuing a life completely full of noise, while Jesus did just the opposite. See, Mark chapter 6, after a full day of ministry, this is where Jesus feeds the 5,000. Jesus instructs his disciples to get in a boat, head off to Bethsaida, while he escapes the noise. He heads up to the mountainside to pray. Again, in Luke chapter 6, before choosing the 12 apostles from all of the rest of his followers, Jesus spends the night in silence with God, again up on a mountainside, just praying in silence. Well, I have to imagine that if you're watching this video, it means that you probably want to please God. You probably want to hear him. You probably want to obey his call for your life. Well, I want you to think about this next question because it's an important question. The question is, what will it take in your life to make that happen? What will it take in your life to please God? What will it take in your life for you to be able to hear him? Well, let me suggest that it might just take getting rid of some of the noise in your life. I think it's telling that whenever God spoke to Elijah, as Elijah was up in the cave in Mount Horeb, he didn't speak to Elijah through the wind, the earthquake, the fire. He spoke to Elijah in a gentle whisper. I think if Elijah would have had all the things going on that we do today, now I don't know it, but I can only imagine that he just might have missed out on hearing God's call. I hope you have a blessed day.